And of course, as always, we want everybody to know that whatever is discussed on the show is the opinion of our guests and don't necessarily reflect our official policy. Although I do have to say, if we say something, maybe it does reflect something for me and or myself. And so don't. Somebody says something bad or politically incorrect, don't hold us to them in perpetuity. Or if we say something politically incorrect, it's not our fault. To just post a question, and we've got some questions we've written down. But today is an open show and open forum, and we'll just run with it. And of course, thank you for joining us. And today we're going to try and sell you whatever we can sell you. What the heck? Basically said that, she believes that the customer gets a better overall experience and commission is no longer in the mix.
Exactly.
Commission salespeople are not inclined to do anything they don't believe will pay off immediately. And then Stephen mentioned that AutoNation a few years ago went to their sales teams across the US and offered them the option to go salary. Only 30% of the people took the option. And it's very interesting because it depends how many of these people are in there. And it's very hard for our business to say to somebody, and part of the reason we have such a high turnover is, how do you say to somebody, great, congratulations, here's a job, you don't make any money unless you sell a car.
Right.
And it also goes with, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say there's the other thing that we struggle with is being diverse with our male and female representation on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
And it's terrible. But I think one of the reasons we struggle so much with it is the commission basis, because
100%.
There are risk adverse people and there are non-risk averse people. They just want to come to work, do a job, know how much they're going to get paid, pay their bills. They're good. They do a great job, and just move on. And then, the other ones are, you got whatever. I don't want to be all stereotypical, but I think we all know what we're talking about. And, they'll have a 20-car month and then they'll take the next one off and then they'll have another big one. And they'll stop working mid-December and they won't go back to work until about March when the car shows all hit the season. And it's just come on.
It's very funny on a positive spin on this. Wherever you go, and John, I'm sure you agree, Barry, of course, Stephen, I'm not sure where you're located, but the successful dealers are the dealers that have built a relationship with good people, either fixed ops or front end, and the ones that aren't, they're still making money in spite of themselves, but the ones that aren't are the ones that stick to antiquated models. I had a general manager of a store the other day talk to me, and he had recently, about 6 months ago, changed dealerships. And he was in one dealership where he led them to record profits ever. And the owner sat down with them and had a problem with them. They just finished their best year. The net
making too much money.
Yeah, the net was double his best year. No word of a lie, Scouts honor. And he said he had a real problem with them though. And his problem is he doesn't think he spends enough time at the store. And this guy came from the fixed ops background, not from the variable ops. And he was used to, he understood life as you come to work and you go home. You put in a reasonable amount of hours, not a little bit, but not a lot. And then you have a life. And he looked at him and he says, what part of record profits didn't you get? And he says, yeah, he says, you got to spend more time here. And, he happened to have connections because he represented the dealership on to the manufacturer, met another dealer who was getting a new store. Guy said, come on board. He joined him. That store's now taken over the position the other store did. That other one's come down. And he actually puts in a 45 to 50 hour week. His kids know who he is. His wife hasn't left him. And that store's making money and the other guy's back to where he used to be, but his manager's putting in 65, 70 hour weeks.
And I think, I'm sure John will reflect on this as well, but if you don't have rested management and they're fresh and they have time to think of new ideas, then you never will grow. because you need a manager who goes into a restaurant, has an amazing experience, and brings that experience back to your business. If you're just running, there's never any growth. They're just trying to shuffle papers and keep things alive. And it's, and it's a mindset from a era gone by from some of these owners that they just don't understand that in today's world, that expectation needs to be, you've got rested management. And if your team can't do it without you, you're not a good manager, just to sum that off.
Exactly.
Right? If
Yep.
you need the GM there on a Saturday to desk deals so they don't screw up trade appraisals, you got a bad team. So
there's no question here. And I mean, one thing I say is the privateer dealership, the single point, double point dealer, did very well for years. And then somebody said, hey, you know what? I can't run my dealership with my hand around like this. I just can't. Maybe they got sick, maybe whatever. Maybe their kid came aboard and the kid said, wait a minute, mom, dad, I'm not doing it that way because you brought me up with nice cars and watches and golf club memberships. But so then they took on other dealerships, and now the big groups have come because the dealerships run. And the good ones, AutoNation's a great example that Stephen brought up, is their dealerships are given a very, to my understanding, and tell me if I'm wrong, they're given a parameters about this wide in which to operate their dealerships. And the GMs run them, and they get either stock or whatever. I know Auto Canada does stock options here. They don't get ownership. But here we like to do it this way. And the GMs bounce around. There it's like that. They can't, Ian, who's disappeared on us, and when he presents the products from NABVAT, and he'll talk to people who say, well, don't talk to me because I can't make a decision.
Mhm.
And so they leave that up to the salespeople, the sales manager. The GM wants to come in and desk deals on a Saturday because he can't trust his sales managers to do deals. And the reason he can't trust them is he doesn't want to.
and he's
And
never
that's the
he's
owner doesn't
never
trust
trained
them.
them, right? Like, inspect what you expect and all the other catchphrases that we've all heard in our life and etc. But at the end of the day, if you can't, if you got a management team that want, the new car guy's putting the used car guy together to put a deal together, well, your pay plan is wrong then, and you got a team issue, and you got all those things going on, and they're really quite fixable once you actually dig in. They take a little bit of time, but they're fixable. But it's so much easier to say, well, no, boss, I'm here all the time, every time, so it can't be anything I'm doing. It must be the other guys, and hopefully they dodge a bullet one more time and go from there.
And you know what's funny with that model, the customers pick up on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they walk in and they know, if they come into service and the service people are just trying to stuff them with work, flushes. I was in a dealership that we took over a dealership where on the first service, the service advisors were selling customers flushes because they could. And then it took 5 years to regain the reputation. But when you got that, or does somebody come in and they got a lot of problems with their car, and the service advisor says, look, you may not want to put the money into this car. Would you like to speak to a salesperson? Or heaven forbid, there's a salesperson sitting there offering to give somebody a ride instead of the shuttle driver. And these are the things when everybody's worrying about their money, the customer picks up on it right away. And that's where we get the reputation. Yeah. And Chrissy made a comment, she keep that thought, but she's saying there's no doubt the industry is mostly male, but it's changing slowly. She spent most of her career doing service and was nervous when she switched to sales because she had the idea she had to be very aggressive and pushy, and that wasn't her. And she now approaches sales from a customer service perspective, and customers do appreciate that.